December isn't typically known to be the best month for game releases, however, there are a few highly anticipated games coming this December, and there are other interesting ones. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the top 10 games coming in December 2016. Let's get right into this. Number 10, Werewolves Within. Werewolves Within is a multiplayer VR game coming from Ubisoft. It's a fast-paced social deduction game supporting up to 8 players. You either play as a werewolf or a villager, and it's up to you to deduce who the werewolves are, or to survive the vote against the villagers. The idea of the game is to keep both of the experience of being a werewolf or a villager starkly different. It's a very interesting game. It comes to Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and PlayStation VR on December 6th.
Playing these social deduction style games and having a great time whether you're around the world or next door.
One of the features I really like to use in the game is the monologue feature, and most players stand up and they deliver a very heartfelt diatribe on why you shouldn't vote for them or why you should vote for this guy. Usually I like to use it just to shut everyone up, and I'll cross my arms standing up silently and just shake my head in disapproval.
At Red Storm, there's a long multiplayer history here. We've done a lot of different types of multiplayer games, and what VR brings to us now, a new way to let players interact with each other. So Werewolves Within is this social around the table experience that's very discussion and personality based. We're working on things that give other types of player interaction in VR, and we have a lot of exciting ideas and expect a lot of great things to come out of here.
Number 9, I Expect You to Die. I Expect You to Die is a VR puzzle game that places you in the shoes of a secret agent as you try to escape dangerous locales in an escape the room style of play. The game doesn't look too unique or technically advanced, but it can still be a nice diversion for VR players. The game releases on December 6th.
Meddle and in some cases, blow things up to get the better of your nemesis, Dr. Zor. Taking full advantage of VR, I Expect You to Die gives you the tools to fully immerse yourself in the super spy fantasy. But it's not all bow ties and martinis. You'll encounter difficult and often deadly puzzles in interesting locales. Escape each situation or die trying. Immersive escape the room mechanics meet unforgiving puzzle solving in this virtual reality homage to classic espionage.
Number 8, Bastion on Xbox One. One of the best indie games of all time is finally coming to the Xbox One in Bastion. If you haven't played Bastion at this point, you're totally missing out. It's an action RPG with one of the best art styles you'll ever see in a video game, great music, strong gameplay, and a good story. For those of you that own the game on Xbox 360, you'll be getting it for free on Xbox One, and if you don't own it, you definitely should grab it when it releases on December 2nd for the Xbox One.
Besides, if not for the calamity, we wouldn't have this distillery chock full of the finest spirits. An arsenal packing enough heat to remind the beast of the wild who's boss. Or even that shrine, in case the gods ain't dead. The calamity gave us something else. A story. That may not sound like much. Well, wait till you hear it.
Number 7, Shyness: The Lightning Kingdom. Shyness is an RPG funded with the help of Kickstarter, and it looks like one of the most promising games of the year. It's got a fantastic watercolor art style with what seems to be some interesting gameplay that's pretty diverse with different puzzles, combat, etc. Shyness doesn't have an exact release date yet, but it's still listed as a 2016 game, so do the math, that probably means it's releasing in December, barring any delays. It releases on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. The PC pre-order is actually already up on Steam.
One versus one duel. To overcome dangers and dastardly bosses throughout the land, combat in Shyness utilizes traditional fighting game mechanics with an RPG flair. Fights in Shyness combine attacking, parrying, dodging, and combos like in traditional fighter games, and also clever use of elemental magic. Each of the 5 characters are also equipped with special abilities for exploration to unlock secrets, complete quests, and solve puzzles. Shadow, for example, has the power to summon a boulder onto his back to throw and act as a counterweight. Pocky's skills manipulate the world's chi to influence electrical currents, and Cayenne exploits powerful telekinetic talents. As you level up and explore the world of Mehera, you will find parchments that unlock new skills. These unlocked abilities can take the form of boons, curses, destructive magic, and hypermove. Master the elements and control the cosmic power.
Number 6, Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun. Shadow Tactics is described as a hardcore tactical stealth game set in a very interesting time period of Japan around the Edo period. Visually, the game looks really good with some great environmental design. The setting seems to be the main takeaway for most, and if the core of the game is quality, then this could turn out to be one of the best stealth games of the year. It releases on December 6th on PC.
In this last scene for today, we want to show you a very cool feature, which allows you to maximize the power of your team. Welcome to Shadow Mode. While this feature is active, you can set up one action for each character. This enables you to synchronize the individual powers of your team members to take out multiple enemies at once. By hitting the execute button, all characters will perform their actions at the same time. But even Shadow Mode cannot save you if an enemy witnesses your killings. Yet, if you manage to escape in time, leaving behind a dead body is never a good idea. Murder! If the enemy finds a corpse, he will alert other guards and even call in reinforcements. You can now stay hidden till things calm down, use the confusion to your advantage, or even try to fight your way out. The choice is yours.
Number 5, The Dwarves. The Dwarves is a fantasy RPG where you play as, you guessed it, dwarves. Technically, the game isn't anything to write home about, but the most promise comes from its gameplay, touting tactical, real-time battles where you fight against hundreds of enemies at once. The story also has an interesting foundation. You play as a dwarf that grew up around humans. The Dwarves has potential to be one of the sleeper RPGs of the year. It releases on December 1st at a budget $40 price tag.
Of Girdlegard, we are the children of the divine smith. We are the Dwarves. Stay at your posts. Be as steadfast as the granite of which we are made. Nothing can break us. Fracas is with us.
Number 4, Steep. Steep is an open-world game that focuses on 4 main activities: skiing, snowboarding, wingsuit flying, and paragliding. The game is very heavily on the online play. All players share the same game world, and they play in activities in the world simultaneously. This is another ambitious Ubisoft multiplayer project. Hopefully it turns out better than The Division, which was very divisive. Steep at the very least is unique compared to most games released these days. Extreme sports titles are few and far between, so we're hoping for the best when it releases on December 2nd for PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
The ultra-competitive Invitational Challenges. A high rep comes with additional perks like hot air balloons and highly exclusive helicopter drops, both of which offer the high altitude necessary to take on the most harrowing lines in the world. Being the best means looking your best, so you'll want to pick gear that stands out in the crowd. While you're out crushing the mountain, you'll naturally develop into 6 unique playstyles. So have fun out there. As you discover your talents, Steep will continue to grow and expand, adding free downloadable updates, including a daunting new mountain, Alaska, as well as exciting free content mirroring real-life events like the Free Ride World Tour and community tournaments. The mountains await, so grab your friends and your gear. Explore everywhere. Shred any line. Share everything. This is Steep. Drop in.
Number 3, Space Hulk Deathwing. 2016 has been a stacked year of first-person shooters: Overwatch, Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1, COD, etc. There's one more coming that's flown very much under the radar, and that's Space Hulk Deathwing. Technically, the game looks very impressive with a lot of detail, and the single player seems to have some depth to it. There will also be a multiplayer mode, so hopefully that turns out well. Space Hulk Deathwing releases on PC on December 9th, and it is scheduled to come to PS4 and Xbox One sometime next year. Number 2, Dead Rising 4. Dead Rising 3 was one of the main launch titles for the Xbox One, and now 3 years later we have the next entry in the franchise, Dead Rising 4. Dead Rising 4 will follow a similar style to the previous games, and it features the return of Frank West in a Christmas-themed environment. The game will be a massive open world, and it looks just as chaotic as the previous games. We just hope it holds up from a technical perspective, because that was one of the main issues with Dead Rising 3. The frame rate was just all over the place. Dead Rising 4 releases on December 6th for Xbox One and Windows 10.
Brad, the trail leads into the old sewer tunnels.
Finally, number 1, The Last Guardian. The highlight of December looks to be the highly anticipated Last Guardian, a game that's been in development for a very long time. It was originally announced back at E3 of 2009, and it went missing for a while. Then it was re-revealed in 2015 as a PS4 title. Finally, after all the waiting, the game is in sight. The Last Guardian is the latest game from Team Ico, the guys behind the highly regarded Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. Last Guardian focuses on a young boy and his pet creature that's a hybrid of a bird and a cat. You can tell that this is gonna be a very emotional experience. How good will it be? That's hard to tell, especially with a game that's been in development as long as The Last Guardian has been. Even if it's half the quality of Team Ico's previous games, it'll be pretty good. We'll find out on December 6th when The Last Guardian releases exclusively for the PS4. So that wraps up our countdown of the top 10 games coming in December 2016. What do you think? Which games are you the most excited for in December? Comment your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.